Good afternoon, everyone. So let's talk about primogems in general. I think it'll be quite a fun topic. So please check out this video by the Keepster. I'll link it below. It's an absolutely fantastic video. I'm not going to spoil too much of everything that's in here, but what this guy has done is he's essentially never ever spent a single primogem on any single wish. And so he's given us a very good idea of the amount of primogems that you can get per day. So if you don't know, including all the events and including all the rewards and daily commissions, and assuming you've been playing this game at a very consistent pace every single day, collecting as much as you can expect a roughly about 6,000 to 8,000 primogems per month. And per day that would be about 240, 50, somewhere in that region. Obviously we have a baseline of 60 for all the commissions, and then of course you can then add like the spiral abyss to get like bump that up every 2 weeks, but whatever. The most interesting thing is if you look at the rate of primogems, or the effective rate of primogems that you get from playing the game, then it's obvious, in the beginning we want to hype up the game. We get lots of primogems, we get the dragon spine, all the good things. There's a bit of a content drought, of course, because as people explore the game, they collect more chests, then effectively you get less and less primogems. After this, Inazuma drops. So you can see here, this is like a big Inazuma patch. People are exploring, they're going out of their ways to like get like all the chests, all the rewards, all the events. And what happens is people spend all their primogems on Raiden Shogun. Everyone's now effectively broke as free-to-play players, and the rate, since we're now exploring more islands and getting more progression, doing more quests, the effective rate of primogems we're getting is like dying down. So this is what I talked about in one of my videos of there being a content drought, because people are now sort of catching up, and this is very near the anniversary. So you can see people are getting withdrawal symptoms. They're hating on the fact that we're not getting rewards, and they take it and they just want to slam Kokomi as well, because who on earth wants to wish on Kokomi? And that this is sort of the situation we're in. So the question I want to pose to you, and this is a very interesting question, is if MiHoYo is, and I think they should, if they are generous and they give us like 20 intertwined fates and like 1,000 primogems, or let's say the equivalent of 3,600 primogems, no sorry, 4,800 primogems, like 30 wishes worth. I can bet you a bottom dollar that this company would recuperate that generosity by giving us less chests and less events and less rewards later on in the game's life cycle. Because what you need to realize is Genshin Impact is a very mathematical game. They didn't take some 22-year-old fresh out of university to do all these calculations. No, no, no. They've got an entire team of people that are very carefully crafted, like stuff like, for instance, if you look at the wishes and how they've designed the entire experience and the probabilities, they've very carefully curated the experience and the rate at which they're expecting their players to get primogems and all these sorts of things. So if they are overly generous at some point, they will definitely get their value back by being less generous at another point, which is typically when we get a content drought, and that is in between patches, which in my opinion actually makes a lot of sense, because there are periods when you're building hype, and then there are periods where you just want to like sort of give the community a chance to sort of keep up. Obviously all the speedrunners are going to exhaust everything, and they're going to be like, where's our content? MiHoYo slammed the desk. But honestly, for the average player, the average casual player, I think they've got a very consistent rate which you can follow in terms of getting primogems, and if you're just a bit patient, you can ideally get the 5-star of your choice. What's interesting about Kibi's journey is that you cannot at this stage get a C6R5 unless you're extremely lucky. By just being a free-to-play player, it will take you at least 3 years in my calculations. So if you are hoping for that wonderful Ayaka rerun, please keep saving as a free-to-play player. But yeah, I found this topic to be very interesting. So tell me, what do you think? Would you rather want more rewards now and feel good, but get a bit of less rewards later on? Obviously, as a whale player, it would be really irritating to me if they were overly generous and they just like increased this primogem rate and essentially they just moved up to a new average level, because it would devalue my purchases, unless MiHoYo somehow compensates whales appropriately. But I think that'll be very difficult, because how do you give whales more rewards to like keep the value of their effective spending the same? They won't ever be able to justify it. But I think more acknowledgement from people that have spent on the game would be a pretty good reward. So in other words, if I give feedback on, let's say, a weapon like Kokomi's Everlasting Moon Glow, it would be really nice to have like someone in the Genshin team say, look, thank you for your feedback. As a valuable customer, we are prioritizing this. So it's not just like the standard feedback that everyone gives in a survey, but it's like feedback that the team will actually take a serious look at, and they might not even need to increase, I would like pay attention to it, but just to sort of say, well, we've acknowledged it, we've given it some serious thought, and no, we are happy as we are, or like this is a good suggestion, we'll even escalate it further or whatever. That'd be like a nice way to sort of keep the people that like effectively pay quite a lot like also involved. That's just my personal opinion. I think the free-to-play argument that we've all generated lots of hype for Genshin Impact is not a very good argument to sort of expect rewards for, because a lot of people miss the fact that it costs the studio quite a lot to run the service. So the more hype you generate and the more free-to-play players you get, the more expensive it is to actually run the service, even though you are getting more players that will actually spend. So this is always a very tough balancing act. And of course, if MiHoYo just gives like overly generous rewards, like let's say they gave everyone 90 free wishes, I would really be like pissed off, and I'd never buy anything in this game again, because that would just be like absolutely absurd. But if they did give us like a generous amount of rewards and they recouped it later on in a silent way, because most people won't notice it, I'd be pretty happy. I think that's what they should do for the anniversary, and hopefully you can see here it's the 27th today. Hopefully tomorrow they're going to give us like just a bit of a surprise, just to keep the community happy, because we're now at a low point here. Everyone's getting withdrawal symptoms, they want to pull, and you know, that's just how people are. So yeah guys, that's it. I'm just going to post, I'm going to make food now, post this video, wait for it to process, and then later tonight I'll make it available. Tell me below what you think of the primogems and whether you agree or disagree with some of my takes. Cheers.